think we are live.
Well, hello, good evening, social change warriors around the country and officially around the world. We now have members from many countries, which is super exciting. I'm Catherine Felton Page. I'm your host tonight. I'm Social Change Warriors. I have an amazing guest tonight. We have Rita Lombardi back with us, and we have a panel tonight. We have Amber K from Madison. We have Miss Mandy. We're trying to bring her into the green room. We're having a couple technical difficulties. So hopefully we'll be bringing Miss Mandy up, I hope soon. And hopefully we'll have a surprise guest towards the end of the hour tonight, but not sure. They may have a conflict. So if we don't have the surprise guest tonight, we'll have them soon. So welcome everybody. It's so great to have you here with us tonight. And there's so much to talk about because Social Change Warriors is about calling out corruption and standing for victims and their families and survivors. And we have our calling out corruption usually on either Tuesdays or Thursdays, where we focus in on local communities who are having a real problem with government and police corruption. And Wednesdays is kind of our night to be angry bees, where we get to buzz around and talk about injustice to women. We focus a lot on domestic violence cases of survivors and unfortunately also victims of domestic violence murder. So we are standing for these ladies. We will not let them be forgotten. And Wednesdays is our night where you can bring me any topic that has to do with women empowerment. You can email it to me. You can DM me on Twitter. I will be happy to discuss anything that you ladies want to talk about on Wednesday nights. So tonight we are this picture from the 50s, yes, that's correct. And the horse you rode in on, that made me laugh. I saw that on Twitter X a few weeks ago, and I thought that is perfect for the angry bees, because that's just how I feel sometimes when people disrespect us or treat us not like we're meant to be treated. It's just kind of what you want to say to them, right? Without swearing, you can say that, yes, and the horse you rode in on. So I thought I'm going to add that to our little A club tonight. But we are doing a fusion tonight where we are doing calling out corruption, and we're also going to be, holding women up. And I've always loved this saying, and in history classes when I was young, Eleanor Roosevelt to me was just an amazing, amazing individual. And so many of her quotes are worthy, but this was something that really resonated for me with social change warriors. And what we're trying to do is stand up for people that are not being treated right, that are being criminalized. Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticized anyway. And it's sort of a sad quote, right? Because why are you criticizing me? But this is the world we live in. There's just so many critical people. So if you feel it in here, if it's in your gut, if it's in your heart, and you feel it's a movement you want to follow, something you believe in, something you're passionate about, then do it, because you'll be criticized regardless of what you do. That's just how humans are. Unfortunately, it's the sad, dark side of our human nature. So I wanted to say one of the panelists tonight is a new friend of mine. So thrilled to know her, Amber K. She is on with us right now. And we met through the Free Karen Read movement, as I have met Rita, and many of you in the chat box I have met because John O'Keefe passed away and Karen Read was framed for his murder. And I have made so many friends because of that, which makes me feel incredibly sad and almost guilty in a way, because my life has improved while John O'Keefe and Karen's obviously have not, especially John O'Keefe, who was murdered. But this is how this life is. We find causes that we want to fight for. We find things we want to stand for. We find common ground. We come together. We build communities and we fight for people. And when that happens, we build friendships, and we can build lifelong connections and friendships because of injustice to others that we have found a common interest in. So we will always honor those who have passed away, that we are trying to fight for and stand up for, and make sure that justice is served in their name. And Amber and I met through this movement via Facebook, and I was in Madison. I live in Madison and in Florida. I was here and I wanted to go up to our Capitol, and I wanted to do something by the Capitol. And Amber got a hold of me and said, I'll do the stand-up with you. So it was just me and Amber in Madison, Wisconsin. She ordered this amazing t-shirt that got delivered to her from this great lady out in, I believe, in Arizona. And then we made these signs. And it was just so empowering. I had forgotten the power that is involved in raising your voice. And students were coming up to us down on campus at the Union and up at the Capitol and asking us what we were doing and who's Karen Reed and who's John O'Keefe. And I felt like even though it was a small moment, we might have talked to 100 people. I felt like we were helping the families of both of these individuals by standing for them and standing for justice. So I'm really grateful to Rita and everyone in Canton, Massachusetts, who has stood up against corruption, a corrupt police department, corrupt government. And when this happens, we build a community and we stand for justice. So I'm really happy tonight to bring Rita Lombardi back on with us as a guest. I want to just quickly, before she introduces herself again and lets us all know what she's about and where she's from, I wanted to share some of these amazing photos from many of their standouts. I mean, they are truly social change warriors. They are not just online. They are not just on Facebook or on social media. They are out in the rain, in the cold, in the wind, with their signs, fighting for what they believe in. And they even went so far, several of them, as to run and try to get the corrupt people off the select board in Canton. Because people, that's what you have to do. If you don't like it, then fix it. We can't just sit at home and complain anymore. We have to pick it. We have to go out and hold up signs. We have to stop electing people that are crooked and literally criminals, white collar criminals in most cases, that are in our government, and we have to oust them, and we have to run with ethical people that care about government transparency. And that's what Rita is doing, and that's what many of her friends have been doing in Canton. They're trying to start and get things turned around and back on track. So here's some more great pictures. We did get permission from this young lady's mother. We're starting our advocates out early, Rita, in Canton. We're teaching them that even as children, they can stand up for what they believe in and have a cause. Canton fence, Karen Reed was framed, signs everywhere. I mean, it's so empowering. Anybody right now in America who has corruption in their town, this should engage you. This should make you want to go and do what Cantonites are doing. They are standing up for what they believe in. They want to get rid of crime in their city. And seeing these pictures should just really make you mad and make you happy all at the same time, because the fact that we have to protest that our government is corrupt and that we have dirty police officers and corrupt police officers is just ridiculous. We should never have to deal with this. They should be rooted out by their own supervisors and not elected, especially in law enforcement. If they hired the wrong people, get rid of them, fire them. Why are they allowed to stay there and continue to do wrong and break laws when they're supposed to be the law enforcement officers? So here's some more great, just so many great signs. So much time is being spent by these amazing residents. And with that being said, I just want to bring up our panel that we have right now tonight. We're hoping that Miss Mandy will be able to join us. I think there might be something wrong with the link. And if she can't join us tonight, trust me, we will have Miss Mandy on, because she's amazing and she's doing great work as well in the area of advocacy and true crime. So welcome, Amanda Kay, back to the platform, my new BFF here in Madison, Wisconsin, and social change warrior. And welcome, Rita Lombardi from Canton, Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Rita, we are so excited to have you back, but unfortunately, Rita, to have you back to talk about some craziness. So unfortunately, but we're happy to have you.
Thank you. And I'm so happy to come back. I really am. I think what you guys are doing is great. And the more we can get the word out on things that are wrong and ways that we can improve, the better we're all going to be, because this impacts, all of these issues impact all of us. It's not just a Canton issue. It's not just a Massachusetts. It's not just the United States. It's the free world. And, you know, being able to stand up and use your voice and advocate for what is right, it takes courage, and we just grow by the day. And the more people that join us, the better it is. And it's so rewarding to help others. It helps the families that are impacted, but it also helps us, because it's so rewarding to help others, and there's nothing like it. And it's bringing the best people in the world together and uniting us. And isn't that awesome? I just think that's incredible.
that's the silver lining, you know, in all of this tragedy that Pat was talking about. At least we have something like making friends and coming together and making change and being active in our governments and active in our local governments. That's so important. And at least we have something positive that we can see out of this tragedy.
Absolutely. And I have never been involved in government. You know, I share with people that, you know, I was in the private sector. I'm 64. I'm in my semi-retirement years, so I thought, and, you know, but I have never been involved in government. I was in the private sector. I worked full time. Hi, Mandy.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
Instead of my words backstage.
Miss Mandy, this is Miss Rita.
Hi, Rita. Oh my gosh, I was so impressed with you at the police audit.
Oh,
you took names. That was amazing.
Yes. Yeah, we don't play those games. So, but anyway, so I've never been involved in government. And then what happened with John O'Keefe being murdered, and then Chris Albert running. Am I on a delay? Hold on.
I think there's a feedback.
Hang on a second, guys. It's just yeah, I'm getting rid of it. Stand by. I figured it out. Stand by. I'm going to get rid of it in 2 seconds. You guys keep going.
Okay. So, you know, I've never been involved, but the murder of John O'Keefe and Chris Albert running for select board, I went to my first select board meeting probably 15 months ago. And I have gone to everyone ever since. And I learn every time I go. You ask questions. We don't have to be on the select board. We don't have to be in these positions. All we have to do is show up and ask questions. And we learn and we hold them accountable. And I've learned so much this last year. And, you know, this country has been, I've never seen this country the way it is. And, you know, you have truth and you have gaslighting. And that's what we have in this case. Only it's a role reversal. The defense and the prosecution have role reversed. And it's important that we all unite and support truth and stand for truth, however you can. Because we have to get rid of gaslighting. People could say things a million times. It doesn't make it true. And we're in, you know,
exactly.
It doesn't make it true. Science, things that matter, facts matter. And that's what we're standing up for.
Rita, I thought it was really funny because we're going to get into this police audit committee meeting. There's a lot to talk about. But I loved how Turtle Boy said, "What are you guys afraid of some middle-aged women?" Because it's us middle-aged women that are making the change. Okay, yes. So cheers to you and all the middle-aged women that are fighting back.
Yes, and that's what
I love that, Amber.
It's like the moms came together. I mean, there's guys too, but it's a lot of women, and it's like, you know, don't mess with our kids. You know, right. And it's like the moms came together and we said, yeah, home's not playing these games. This is how it's going to be done. And, you know, we're dealing with men and they are, you know,
intimidated.
They're intimidated by strong women and they're bullies. And they're women haters. And, you know, we are standing up to them and they don't know what to do because people, I think, usually cower to them. And that's not happening. That's not happening. We are holding them accountable and they're making it tough for us, but we are going to hold them accountable and get the results that we need in this town.
And you're doing that.
Yeah.
Well, Rita, I mean, you said something that's a common theme with, I don't know about everyone on the panel tonight. I'm just getting to know all of you, but you know, I'm 61. I started working when I was 14 years old. So many years in the workplace. And you're always running up against this with misogynistic men. Now, guys in the chat and guys that come on the show tonight, and many, many men, you're wonderful. You're great. There's many, I have lovely best friends for life that are men. We're not man shaming here. We're just talking about the ones that we don't care about, the ones that aren't right, that there are misogynistic men out there that you see them all the time. You've worked with them. They don't treat you with respect. They put you down. They make fun of you, basically, like you were saying, Amber and Rita, the whole, the middle-aged soccer moms, or the middle-aged this, or kind of putting us in a corner, making us feel lesser than, right? And whenever we try to go for promotions, or when we step up and try to call something out, and that was why I said I wanted to call my Wednesday nights the Angry Bitch Club, because I can't tell you how many times I found out that I was being called a bitch behind my back. I was being called the B word because I'm standing up against corruption. I'm being called the B word because I'm standing up against bullying, when some of my fellow officers or some of my other fellow workers are being obviously bullied by these egocentric people. And egocentric people shouldn't be running the world. Ethical people that want transparency and care about each other and want to work as a team should be running the world. And we have too much going on right now with this type of a persona in our government. And Rita, you have been seeing this week after week. When I've watched you on the Canton Select Board, I get so mad, I can't even go sleep at night, because I'm watching these live streams at like 8, 9 my time, Eastern time. And I'm walking around my house saying, who are these people and why are they elected and why do they get to be in charge? So I commend you, Rita, for your constant, going up against them and saying, no, we've had enough. We're going to raise our voice, which is our hashtag for social change warriors. We're fed up. We're not putting up with this anymore. We're not going to be treated lesser than. We have a voice. And we're not going to put up with corruption. So give us a little bit of a picture of what it's been like going to these meetings and going up against these so-called select board members who have been so disrespectful to you and your fellow Cantonites.
So we have, there's been a couple of different meetings going on. The select board meetings are usually Tuesday nights, and they're usually every other Tuesday, but there's actually going to be another one this coming Tuesday. And then what we saw Thursday night was the police audit meeting. And the police audit was voted in last November under extremely contentious, it was awful. And the people on the board do not want the police audit. So that meeting has a different tone, even though it's very similar to the tone of the select board. It's very frustrating when you have people that are supposed to be in leadership positions that are not leading, that are hiding, that are not fulfilling the oath of their jobs, and hiding behind rules and regulations and laws where, we don't have to answer questions, so therefore we're not going to answer questions. It's not transparent. They are complicit in what is going on in this town. The more they keep their mouths quiet, the more they're complicit. And the police, so that's the select board, they're complicit. And we also have an issue. What's that?
And corrupt.
Yeah. Oh, and corrupt. And, we also have 5 members. Like when this first happened a year ago, we had 5 members on the select board, and 3 of them had direct family members that were at the house that night. We have Tom Theodore, who was the chairman. He lost re-election in April. His son is a police officer. We have Mike Lofgren, who is now the chair, and a pathetic chair at that. He shouldn't even be on that board. His brother was a snowplow driver. Chris Albert, we now know his son was at the house when John O'Keefe was murdered. We also have Charlie Duty, who is the town administrator, and his daughter was at the house, but had left before. So you have 4 out of 6 people that are protecting their families, and they should have resigned their position. Chris Albert has no business being on that select board, and he just ran to protect his family. Because the select board oversees the police. But in the town of Canton, the select board doesn't want to oversee the police. They just want the police to self-manage. And hence, that's why we have problems that we have. Wow. So it's not easy You know, and they give us 3 minutes. We used to have 5 minutes. And so we're crunched to get our point across in 3 minutes. And sometimes people have to read and they're not even listening. So you have 3 minutes, you're standing there, you're speaking, and they're not even listening. It's like,
You
okay,
can tell they were watching a clock. Yeah.
right. And what they don't realize
Right.
is that we've been speaking to the cameras all along. And we knew they weren't listening to us. So we were speaking to the cameras to get the word out in the community, to get the word out, help, SOS, we need help. And we did that pretty effectively.
Poor
And
things.
it's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's sad because, you know, you'd think that they would improve and they keep going down. They keep digging deeper.
You know what it is, Rita? It's like, you know that saying when you're playing poker, right? And you have so much money in the pot and it's like I got too much and you're following it up with more money even though you got a bad hand.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing in Canton. They just
Yes.
keep doubling down. They keep adding money to the pot rather than folding it and let's start fresh and let's look at this how it should be. Nope, 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 nope. With this is we have too much money in the pot. We got to keep going.
Right. And that makes you think, what are you hiding?
Mhm.
What are you hiding? Why do you have to double, triple, and quadruple down? You know, what is it that is so bad that is going to come out in a police audit? And look, the feds are watching. The feds are watching. We're waiting for the feds to come in. And, you know.
Oh, yes, Rita. They are watching. They are watching you guys for sure. And
Yeah.
and I love the way you guys talk about that when you say doubling down, because that's exactly what happens with people with big egos who are not used to being challenged. That's what they do, and they'll continue to do it. So whoever, it's like a fight to the finish. Whoever gives up last, whoever gives up is going to lose, because the other person's not going to give up. People that have big egos and are used to running the show and used to not being said no to, they will not back down. And if this is what happens, community members, we get tired because we have families, we have lives, we have volunteer work. Some of us go back to school and we get tired of fighting the corrupt government because it feels like it's a vicious circle that never ends, and it's frustrating. So my son and I, youngest son, were just talking about that today, that it feels like all we ever do is fight. One party gets elected, you fight for 4 years. The next party gets elected, you fight for 4 years. During the debates, same old song and dance. I told you, Rita, last week, I saw that amazing bumper sticker on someone's truck that they put on. It was behind the whole truck and it was driving around Canton, and it said, "Re-elect no one." And my son, re-elect no one. My son said, what if we all did that? What if we all just did a giant standout on election days when we were sick of our local government, when we were tired of any government, whether it be local or school board, or whether it's the national election or mayor or governor? What if we all just said, we don't like either one of you. We're going to have a standout and we're not going to the polls. What would happen? Would that force everybody from Canton to say, oh, I guess they don't want us anymore? Or would that force a city where there's a mayor or a governor that's corrupt? I don't know anymore what are the answers, but just the fact that you're continuing to go and raise your voice at these meetings, regardless of how badly they treat you, because they have been treating you very badly. It's embarrassing to watch these grown men act like this on this Canton Select Board.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're not going away. We have no quit. And, so they can do whatever they're doing. And we're going to continue to do what we're doing to hold them accountable, because that's just the way it is. So, John Conley, who has been on the select board for 34 years, is going to have tough competition come April. And these other people will
so
not
no term limits on these select boards?
3 years.
No term limits, Rita, for Canton.
Not right now, no. And we wanted term limits, but we're told that it would be, I forget the word they used, it would be targeting somebody because John's the one that has 34 years. So if we put term limits of 15 years, oh, look who just joined us.
Hi, darling. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Are you sure you're okay? I feel like they did a number on you, or tried to at least.
Yeah, they did. They did. But you know what? They'll never get me. They'll never get me.
Listen, I was listening. I had you guys on in the background. I'm doing my shit for work. I just got back from Know Your Parents night. Okay. Know Your School night. No, the parents are fine. It's a school.
Oh
and
my gosh. Thank you, Auntie Deb.
I had to come in and just bitch because I got to bitch. First of all, this is inspiring because like watching this whole thing, right? Like even like making the funny videos, right? Whatever. It's like, oh yeah, I'll be funny here, blah, blah. I was never really one to say anything ever. Really, I really wasn't. But recently, whenever I'm like doing Bev, especially rapping, I notice in my real life that I'm kind of like a no bullshit motherfucker. It's weird. So the person that I'm imitating, when I imitate them, I'm actually taking on those characteristics. I don't let anyone get away with shit. You should have seen me at the meeting the other day. I was like, oh, really? That's what we're going to do? That's going to help the kids? I'm like, who am I? Who am I? Dude, when I tell you, the fucking public school system is disgusting. Disgusting. All the stuff that I'm seeing, and I'm not quiet about it. And I'm not going to be quiet about it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting it go. I'm not. Like none of these people, none of them. I don't know. I came into myself recently. I have all these plans and I feel like everything is a game. You have to do it correctly, which Rita, I noticed you started doing a while ago when you were like, I have to be calm. You started talking calmly. You were like, yes, thank you. You were giving everyone their props. You were playing the game. That's how you survive, or else they're going to get you because they don't tell you what the name of the game is. They say it's checkers. The whole time it's been chess. Yeah. And they're not telling you. If you told me the game, now I can play fairly. So I don't know. I kind of wanted to come in here and say something funny, but I'm on fire. I'm on friggin' fire. I'm mad as hell.
We got another angry bee in here. I love it.
Oh my God.
I like the angry bees and we buzz around.
I love it.
I don't know. It's like these systems, these old systems where people make money. Yes, it's like
that's what it is.
No one does what they're supposed to do. The cops aren't protecting anybody. The school board doesn't give a shit about your kids.
No,
they don't. They do not. Trust. I've watched teachers and administrators lie their faces off to parents. Wow. Hide things. Don't tell them what's going on. They'll call your parents if you get in trouble, but not if a teacher's feeling you up on the side. They're not going to call you. This sick
you know what?
stuff.
Auntie Deb, it's almost like the police corruption in the school district sometimes, because I know this firsthand from family members. When things happen, just like the cops, they sweep it under the rug. They hush, let them resign, and then they go to another school and do the same crap, just like the cops.
And this is what got me like all fired up, was because it's like I don't have kids, but I have a niece and a nephew. And if something ever happened to them and I knew that adults knew that someone had this prior behavior, I would fucking go there and I would burn their face up and I'd go to jail for the rest of my life. I'd lose my shit.
Time to kill. Time to kill. Remember that movie?
With my son. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I went viral with my son because I went to the school board about a complaint. He was wearing his hair in a man bun when man buns were the thing. And,
they're still
yeah, I know they're awesome. But he was wearing he's autistic. He was wearing his hair in a man bun, and the teacher was picking on him. He was calling him the FAG word. He was calling him a girl, and he was telling him to take it out. And no. And I told him, take my phone to school. When you walk into class, hit record and record it. Well, he got something recorded the very first day. And he come home and played it for me. And I filed a complaint. They wouldn't do anything. And so the next day, he jerked the rubber band out of his hair and jerked a chunk of hair with it.
Oh, my God.
And so they still wouldn't do anything. And I said, fine. And I emailed every newspaper, every news station in Charlotte. And I started getting everybody wanting an interview. So I did interviews. And it went on Yahoo, MSN, Cosmopolitan. It went viral everywhere. I was like, I will be an advocate for my son.
Wow.
And don't poke the mama bear or the mother, or the uncle, either. Don't
that math teacher was also the football coach. They didn't want to do anything.
Dude, they don't, because it's like, and it's like they're firing teachers, but they're hiring people downtown. But when something happens, like, do you need to teach a kid like fucking like a William Shakespeare sonnet that badly that you can't get rid of the pedophile and throw him in the library for a couple weeks so you find someone new? Is it that serious? Like, it just seems like no one cares about the kids and the parents
Right.
don't know. So tonight at parents night, there's a couple parents where shit's been happening, and I gave them my phone number and I was like, call me after, we need to talk. I'm not supposed to do that. I don't care. Fire me. I don't care.
Good.
I don't care. And I talked
That's
to them.
good, though. You have to stand up. You have to stand up. Rita, we have a question for Rita from Sarah in shock and horror. Rita, will you be at Doc's hearing tomorrow?
So I won't be at the hearing tomorrow. I have been at them regularly, but tomorrow I can't make it. But you know, I'm sure I'm waiting to see what they announce. I was at the last hearing, and it was a non-event because they wanted to get a new judge, which I understand there was a conflict of interest. But I won't be able to be there. It's unusual for somebody to call him Doc, and I know he likes to be called Doctor. I just refer to him as Aiden. Or Turtle Boy, but I know he likes Doctor. But yeah,
you don't call him Daddy?
No,
I call him Uncle.
Turtle Boy, yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. And but I hear that there's some good information coming out, so I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, like,
I'm excited.
I'm just like so grossed out. I'm happy though. There's
He was
change. There's a little bit of change. Look at what I got. Sorry, I'm all hyped up. I'm all fired up at the parent meeting.
While
love
he's
it.
doing that, next Saturday in Charlotte, North Carolina, there's going to be a standout, a free Karen Reed standout. I've already got the permit.
Really?
We've got permission
that's
from the
great.
city at 1:00 Eastern. So Charlotte, North Carolina, anyone in that area, please come. I'm already handling everything. I'm so
That's
excited, so
great.
pumped. So
Yes.
please come out there.
Yes, and people, you know, if you have a sign, great. If you don't have a sign, that's okay. Just
Mandy,
go.
that's
Just go.
fantastic.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Oh, me?
Now I've already ordered a bunch of signs and everything and a couple of t-shirts. So if somebody doesn't have anything, we should have you covered. So
Oh, that's
Can I ask you a
nice.
question about? I don't want to bring it up again. Back to your son. Did the school do anything after? Like, what happened? What came of that?
they transferred him to a different school. That's the only thing that happened.
Is he still teaching?
He is still teaching.
Hmm.
So wait a minute.
Unbelievable.
Was your son a teacher or
No,
a student?
My son was a student.
He was a student. And how old was he when they did that? Not that age matters. It doesn't matter.
12.
12. Unreal. Unreal.
Why are you touching a kid? Why is your hands?
That's
on
what I
his
said. Why are you touching my kid? That's assault.
Wow.
Listen.
That's
Listen.
And why is he
If there was
putting
a fire in the building and I had to throw a kid out the window, I would feel weird about even lifting him up to throw him out the window. That's how much you shouldn't be touching kids. Why are you touching kids? It happened.
Yeah.
It happened in the beginning of the year this year. This teacher caressed one of my students' chest, and his answer was, "I used to work in elementary school, so I'm used to being close to kids." And I go, "Why are you caressing kids? And what? Do you not know where you are? You're in a middle school. Did you just have an acid flashback and forget where you were? And why are you even touching anyone post-COVID? Never mind someone's kid, you perv."
Yeah, I wanted his
Even
job.
when I bump into a
And
kid in the hallway, I'm like, "Get away from me."
I never ask for people's job ever. I have never asked for someone's job, but I said I want his job. I want him fired.
Oh, absolutely. He should have been terminated.
And
Touching him and putting him down and saying those things to him, unacceptable. Unacceptable.
he still has a hard time with it. He still has a hard time with it. He
course
called
he
him
does.
stupid. He called him all kinds of things.
Awful.
Stupid.
Awful.
How'd you not like?
I'm sorry that
smash
was
his
done to your
parents?
son.
Yeah, and the news stations really went after the school. Really went after the school, and they would never give a comment to any news station. They just always said no comment.
And you know, I vaguely
can't
remember
fix it.
hearing that. It sounds like a familiar story.
Yeah, it was very popular. It really went viral.
Yeah, I vaguely remember somebody having a man bun, and I don't remember everything else, but I do remember a story similar to that. It's so wrong. And I think that's part of the problem. We have the public sector and we have the private sector. And the public sector does not have the checks and balances that the private sector has. That's the problem. The private sector is getting ahead with education and training And the public sector is not, I mean, that a teacher should never put their hands on a child, never, let alone try to humiliate that child. And it's unacceptable. And that teacher, that is
he's
wrong.
the football coach, so he's protected.
Of course he fucking is, though. Like, of course. I feel like these people hide in plain sight. You have
So
anger
I
issues.
have
You want to
another-
legally kill people. Like, go ahead, be a cop. You can do it. Get away with it. You want to touch kids? Go be a teacher. You'll be around them all day. A lot of these people hide in plain sight. Not all of them, but a lot of them fucking do.
Yes, I
Right,
agree.
unfortunately.
Like,
I
I
agree with
didn't
you.
choose to be a middle school teacher. They called and asked 3 years ago. I never wanted. Why do I want to be around 13-year-olds? So I was like, a little weird. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be around kids like that. Like, I used to teach at a jail, and then I used to teach for DYS. But like, I started, and I was like, okay, these kids are actually kind of funny. I kind of like hanging out with them. They're kind of funny. But these people who choose that career, they go every day. They're miserable. They yell at them. Why are you choosing to spend 8 of your hours around kids? Why else?
Right.
Regardless, I feel like there is a little bit of change happening. That's why today I went and got mad at these motherfuckers.
Oh, what's that? So what's in it? So that's the article from Howie today.
No, I didn't read it yet. I'm gonna get the
Oh, yeah.
open it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care. There are pictures in it. That's
So guys,
progress.
I want to just don't mean to step on any, but I'm going to just draw your attention for a moment to Colorado. We have Colorado in the house with Can you guys hear me okay?
You're roboting a little
Am I
bit.
frozen or are you?
Amber, can you hear me?
Kat, you're breaking up. The connection's going in and out.
Yeah, well,
Oh my God. You know, it just
I'm
came
going to try
across
to close my camera down for a minute. I don't know what's going on.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams indicted on federal corruption.
They're all going down.
right.
They're all going down. Cat Williams said it in the beginning of the year. They're all going down. Everyone's getting
Yes.
going down. I'm here
Yes.
for it.
Yep.
So,
Uh-oh.
I don't care. So, and I'm
The
not like,
feds are coming. The feds are coming. Here come the feds.
2024 is the year
It
of
is.
atonement. Like everybody is going down for what they did. That light has disinfecting this cesspool of corruption and crappy people.
yes.
So I'm trying not to curse.
Yeah.
I
But
did a couple
you're
times.
absolutely right. This is a big year.
This is a big year.
What's done in
Yeah.
darkness comes to light. I feel like that's just what it is. It's the
Yeah.
balance. Like, it's just what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all fired up right now.
You were talking about gaslighting earlier. The first time I covered Karen Reed on my channel, I had people come after me hardcore, and I mean making fun of me and making things up about me. I have hardcore bullies gaslighting me, even right now.
Wait a minute. Is this online?
hmm
Yeah. Well, those are the McGalbots. And they have multiple
Yeah.
accounts. Listen, those are not normal people. Those are the McGalbots, friends and family. That's who does it. People like you and I and all of us, they don't do this. The ones that are coming after you, those are the McGalbots, and they have something to hide. And it was their behavior that raised awareness that something it was a red
Mhm.
flag.
Mhm.
The way, when people say to me, how did you know? How, what made you know? And of course, somebody told me to listen to Turtle Boy, who I never heard of before. And I said, Turtle Boy, somebody by the name of Turtle Boy. I'm going to listen to someone by the name of Turtle Boy on YouTube. And he's going to tell me how the Canton police framed an innocent woman. Is that what you're telling me?
Mhm.
He goes, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I go, okay, then. So, I mean, but I saw the autopsy pictures and then they upped the charges to second-degree murder, which was a
Right.
huge red flag. A huge red flag. I mean, the
And so
autopsy
quickly
picture,
too.
yeah, the autopsy picture, you go, that's a dog.
Mhm.
And, then up to second-degree murder, I'm like, yeah, that's a red flag. But the biggest red flag for me was the behavior of the McGalbots. And the way they spoke about Karen and the way they spoke in general didn't add up to me. It just didn't add up. When someone, when a loved one is a victim of a crime like that, you usually say, oh, they did this or they did that. And that's not what they were doing. They were attacking her character. And it was a huge red flag for me. So, people that do that, it's a huge red flag.
Right. Why are you reacting so strongly to this if nothing is to hide? Why are you freaking
Exactly.
out? Why are you so bothered? When
Right.
the minute when I think it was day 9, when that lawyer came in to the trial and they brought up Turtle Boy, I was like, whoa, what's going? You're giving yourself away.
Yes.
You're giving yourself away, you idiots. That's
Right.
what happens. That's what people do. They're so stupid.
Right. But they've been doing it. So when you get messages and people come after you and attack you, no, it's a McGalbert.
It's because you're doing something right.
And
You're hitting
ignore
them.
it. Right. And ignore it. It's the McGalberts.
Send
And
them my way.
small-
I want haters.
Yeah. They have multiple accounts.
They're pretty.
I'm
rough.
mad I don't have any. I want more. I don't have enough. I want some. I thrive off that. Come on, like, let's go. I'm bored. Like, come.
Yeah, I don't
Deb,
think
you know you made it when the haters come out, you know?
What's that?
You know you made it when the haters come out. When they come,
That's what I had someone tell me.
coming
That-
at them and you're exposing them.
It's true.
I ignore them
Guys,
and
can you
they
hear
go
me?
away.
They probably hate
Rita?
Rita. They probably hate Rita. She's
Can
the
you
best.
guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Kat,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Bless
Yes.
your heart.
I just got to keep the room back. I was having so much fun just closing out my camera and letting you guys roll. This has been fantastic. You are all so smart, so brilliant. Any one of you could literally run for public office. Seriously, you really
Let's
could.
all do it
So
together.
I want to kind of, yeah, wouldn't it be great? We could all
It
just
would.
move to one town and take it over for good and just
would
run
be-
everything
it would be a
with
nice place.
transparency. I know. So I want to bring this back around to you, Rita, since you're our special guest tonight. And
And I gotta run. I
just
gotta
wanna-
run quick, but I love you guys because I gotta go correct my
Oh.
papers. I just wanted to come in and
Thank
bitch.
you.
I just wanted to come in and bitch. But I love you guys.
Thank you.
Finally, nice to meet you. Rita, did you see the music video? You're in it.
Did you put out a music video?
Yeah, and you're in it.
Oh, where is it?
Oh
Is
my
it on?
gosh.
Is it on?
I'll
Wait,
send
is
it
it
to
on
you.
TikTok? Is it on?
It's on,
Just send it to me.
it's on YouTube. I'll send it to you.
It's on.
Oh,
Oh,
please.
send it to me.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have my
Send it to
contact?
all of us.
I
I got you on
Angie.
Facebook.
Okay, good. Oh, you
I
got to
don't know if
send
you
it.
know, but you're friends with like the real me. You're not friends with
I
Auntie
know
Deb.
it is. I know it is.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, all
I
right.
got the real
Hey,
you. I
Auntie
know.
Deb. Auntie Deb,
Yeah.
don't give up because you are an amazing person. You're a great teacher. I know your kids love you and respect you, and we need teachers like you that care about them and that want to stand up to corruption because there's
Absolutely.
corruption in school boards too. There's corruption in all schools. It's scary.
The school
Yeah,
board
it's-
meeting is October 10th, and I'm going.
Awesome.
I'm noting everything
Awesome.
down. I'm watching everything. I'm not letting this continue. I'm not. I can't.
Yes.
All right,
Good for you.
guys, have a
And
good
that's
one.
the
Love you
good thing
all.
that's coming out.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Love you,
Thank
Auntie
you.
Deb.
Love you too.
Bye.
Oh, that was
Well, that was a
wonderful.
He's
that
so
was a
good.
surprise. He wasn't sure he could join us because he had the big school stuff tonight and he had so many papers to grade. So I wasn't going to talk too much about it. But for those of you in the chat that don't know who Auntie Deb is, this gentleman is an amazing parody comedian, but he's also a school teacher and he's a loving, kind person. And he lives in, I forgot exactly he's not in Canton, right? He's nearby,
No,
right?
he's in Massachusetts though.
Somewhere in
I'm not sure
Massachusetts,
exactly
but right. So he started following the Karen Reed trial after John O'Keefe was killed, and he, was following it by the content creators. And he loves comedy, he loves parody, and I mean, who couldn't say that watching that trial was not the theater of the absurd, right? So when I
Right.
first saw him doing a parody of Judge Bev, his very first, and I continue to post his channel on my Twitter X, and I will also put it on my Facebook. And I encourage all of you to share it out because when you're following whether you follow trials or you follow true crime or you do advocacy like myself, and activism, you're following a lot of darkness. So it's very difficult to not get compassion fatigue. And it's a very difficult thing. And it's a disorder that can happen to anyone. So you have to keep joy in your life, even though there's sadness and you have so much empathy for these victims of crimes and for survivors and families. But you're interested in this section of part of life, a lot of people are not, because they don't want to get involved in calling out corruption. They don't want to follow these cases where someone has been murdered and their life has been taken. They don't want to see somebody unjustly going to jail. So they just don't watch, and they don't participate, and they don't vote. Well, we need comic relief too, not just self-care. And Auntie Deb, that is his channel. And if anybody wants to type his YouTube channel in the chat box for me, that would be awesome, because he gives so much comic relief in such a dark trial as Karen Reed and the death of John O'Keefe. And his parody of all of the witnesses who testified is unbelievable. I mean, I keep telling him he's going to go viral one of these days. He's going to get invited on Saturday Night Live, and we're all going to say we were there when he first did Auntie Deb. But you will laugh so hard you will cry, because when he's Auntie Deb, he's in the zone, and when he's Matt McCabe and Jen McCabe, and it's hilarious. And we need that comic relief in such a dark trial. So I emailed him way back when he first did his first show, and I said, I'm impressed. I'd really like to get to know you. I want to share your channel out. And we've been kind of building a friendship. So I'm so honored that he popped in, because he's amazing. And what we're talking about is tough stuff. So before he left, I wanted to just bring it back around to you, Rita. And Mandy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And will you please share your standout with me? I will make sure that I share it out with and I'll keep broadcasting it out for you on my other lives coming up.
Absolutely. And I'm going to live stream it as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And you know what, too? Once you get going to maybe get Enrique in there, and Enrique,
yes,
that's, I mean, that is, the Mass State Police murdered him.
I know.
There's nothing, that's murder. Broke his neck, broke his leg, broke his teeth.
Rita, the only thing I can think of, right, with all of the disinformation that's going out there about Enrique, I'm sorry to cut in on this topic, but it's so important.
Oh, this is new to me.
The thing that's like crazy to me is I'm thinking, even in the best case scenario, let's say it was a training exercise and they were boxing. Where was the oversight, like we talked about in the last show? Where were the procedures being implemented to make sure everybody remained safe? Were they really telling him to get back up after he fell down rather than giving him medical attention? Were they betting on it? I don't know. There's some rumors out there about this, but I've heard, and it's been confirmed, that there wasn't like a ring. It wasn't a boxing ring or mat. So if he best case scenario, if he fell down and hit his head on cement, because you don't know, that's possibility.
Yeah,
but regardless, best case scenario, it's negligence. That's the best case scenario.
Yes, having a high level of negligence. But I can share with you guys that when I was in the police academy, we do have to train hard. It's defense and arrest tactics. It's not a joke. It's serious. And I had bruises, and there were other incidents where we can get hurt. I mean, in order to save someone else's life and save our own, we have to train at a high level. So I'm not condemning them for any kind of high training level, but never in all my years of being a police officer and following my friends who were continuing to be police officers after I retired, have I ever heard of such a insane, severe training. And he was alluding in his, I think, post to his friends and his family that it was brutal. Now, why in the world is the Massachusetts State Police allowed to conduct training that their trainees consider is brutal? Because that's not necessary. That's above and beyond. There should be some type of checks and balances there. You don't want your officers to die in training ever. Can there be accidents? Of course, there can be accidents. There have been people killed at gun ranges because someone forgot to do something they were supposed to do. But overall, you have to take care of your officers. You have to make sure they're safe. So just like all the other, I said today in my post, Rita, I said, Massachusetts is an absolute mess right now. It's like a dark cloud is hanging over your state. And the hashtag Justice For just keeps building every day. There's Justice For. Just En Route was one of the first in 2020. Then we moved to Sandra Birchmore. Then we moved to John O'Keefe. Now we have Enrique, and pardon me, what is his last name? I forgot his last name.
Delgado Garcia.
Delgado Garcia. So now we have another hashtag. And so when is this going to end in Massachusetts? This is obviously, you have a major problem right now in the state of Massachusetts, and everyone should be concerned and worried, because if there's one, there's more. There's other states right now, Rita, where this is going on, but nobody has a Rita or any of the other fabulous people that may or may not want me to use their names tonight because they're dealing with other threats. I mean, you were threatened. You were threatened. Your yard, your flowers were ruined. This is not normal. This is not right.
No, this is terrorism. It's domestic terrorism. And they don't like it when I call it domestic terrorism. Well, if you don't like it, don't do it. If you're going to do it, I'm going to call it out.
Exactly.
And, what they threw on my lawn, we thought was bleach. We knew it was toxic. It was Sim Clean 50, which is a highly toxic industrial strength drum cleaner. And so they never thought that we would find out. They never thought we would find out, and we did. And we found balloons that were not popped, and that's what was in the balloons. And they never thought that we would be able to identify it like we did. They just figured the damage would be done and we wouldn't know. They haven't figured out yet that we're not stupid. They're the ones. Look in the mirror. It's not us. And we found out what it is. So it narrows where the feds have to look for who could have done it, because the Sim Clean 50 is not a household item.
Yeah.
It's a very specific.
Oh, no, that's a business. Yes.
That's a business. It's like an automobile business, or it cleans grease. It's a heavy duty. And so, and then they sent threatening letters. We got threatening letters last fall. And those letters, and 4 people got them and 2 people stopped talking. And this is what they do. They terrorize. And they
scare you. They want to scare you down. Basically, that's what we used to call it. They make you worry about your families. They make you worry about your livelihood. They threaten your job. And they scare you from protesting. They scare you from having a voice. And that's just so completely messed up and criminal. We have a question from Sarah in Shock and Horror, one of my fabulous moderators. Ernie Birdie, thank you so much for moderating tonight. Miss Jessica, thank you so much. Couldn't start a channel without you guys supporting me. And I really appreciate it so much. So her question is for Rita is, any updates on finding a civil attorney for suing the town? I think you and Jen were looking.
That's correct. So we, we all come together and we're all, working together to try to figure out how to move forward. And we, people kept saying, get an attorney. We did speak to a couple of civil attorneys and it was not a good fit for us. And then I spoke to another attorney. And the problem, it's not as easy as just getting an attorney. You have to be able to show injury. And, I've got my notes, but I spoke to someone who really wanted to help, but we have to be able to show injury, and it's very difficult to show injury. And we're not looking for any money. We're looking to take control. So he said, this is really not a legal issue. It's a political issue. And so the way to deal with this is through the political channels. And, and that's one thing I'm going to have. And I don't know, do you have a Twitter account? I don't have a Twitter account. I think you do, Kat, right? You do? So
I do. I do. Yeah.
So tomorrow I'm going to have a letter, a template, and there's going to be 3 email addresses that we want people to just get on and email complaining about that police audit meeting the other night. One is going to go to the inspector.
We have to do it, Rita.
Yes. And I just don't have it together today.
I'm so glad.
Tomorrow. Yeah. And so one is going to go to
I'm
the
so
inspector
glad.
general. What's that?
I'm so happy that you're doing that. That was going to be my next question is,
I'll tweet it out
can you give us somewhere we can write? Because I will write to your governor. I will share a form letter on all my socials, because you need more people than just what you have now, because this is out of control in Canton, Massachusetts and Stoughton, Massachusetts. We haven't even gone over there yet, 30 miles to the east, correct?
For what's 30 miles to the east?
Stoughton?
No, Stoughton's closer.
No.
Oh, is it close?
Stone's the next town.
Right
They're
over.
like the football team. They're football rivals.
Oh
Stoughton
my
and Canton,
gosh.
like this. So the Canton Police Department is made up of 83% born, raised, and live in Canton. And, Stoughton is probably the same. I mean, they're rivals. No, they're right next door to each other. They're right next door to each other.
Wow. So
Yeah.
Darlene says, and it's the same officers popping up in all the cases. And that is absolutely true and very disturbing.
It is. It's very disturbing. Very disturbing. People need to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable for what they're doing. And we're getting this out there. And just like you said, every time you turn around, there's another hashtag.
Hashtag, right.
And, we started with Karen Reed and people thought we were part of a cult. We're not part of a cult. All it takes is common sense.
Right.
Common sense is all you need to have in order to say Karen Reed is innocent, factually innocent. And then Sandra Birchmore came to light. And now Enrique, the poor, for him, I'm hearing that MMA, which is like boxing and wrestling, but really vicious. And that's what Brian Albert did, from what I understand, is MMA fighting, where anything goes. And that's the kind of fight Enrique was in. And here we are 10, 11 days past his death. And we still have no word. Somebody should be arrested. We still have no word. The way the injuries on him, as I understand, it was like the 7th vertebrae down.
Right.
And so for someone to have broken that, somebody would have had to go like this and twist his neck. And those are not accidental injuries. Whoever did that intended to harm him. Those are not injuries that he fell. I'm not buying it. Somebody went into some kind of whatever and killed him.
Made it look like an accident. Yeah.
That's no accident. That's no accident. And anyone who's trying to tell us it's an accident is trying to gaslight us. And 10 days later, and we don't have any information, they're trying to gaslight us.
What I don't understand, Rita, is how in Karen Reed's case, Proctor doesn't even see the vehicle and is ready to convict her. Oh, she's dead.
Right.
Within 24 hours that she's the guilty party, and then putting things out in the press that are not correct to completely convict her in the public eye. And in this case with Enrique, it's crickets. Where's the information?
Exactly, because it's at the hands of the Mass State Police. And I heard, and I don't know how true this is, but I'm believing it, is that people came in, and I don't know if Sean shared this on his show, but people came in and they were like going to like a wrestling match. And people came in to watch this. And I heard that whoever he was fighting against, they were looking for volunteers and no one volunteered. So he volunteered. And, and by all accounts, he was a great guy. By all accounts, John O'Keefe was a great guy. So why are these great guys getting killed?
Exactly.
Right.
In vicious ways. John O'Keefe had the back of his head whacked. My opinion for legal purposes, but come on, he's got a cut this big in the back of his head. That is somebody whacking him. You don't fall and get a 2-inch, 3-inch gash on the back of your head.
Yeah, I in no way believe that he was hit by a car and did a pirouette. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Miss Mandy, when you watch this case, because you follow a lot of true crime, did you watch the trial?
Oh yeah, every second
of it. So I love to hear people's first impressions as so the beginning witnesses were kind of like boring, right? They're talking about high school basketball games and who sat by who and who drank what. And
who was at a high top table.
Don't forget acquaintances.
Right.
Acquaintances are big.
All the acquaintances. But once we got into the real meat of it, once we got into the Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Matt McCabe, Jen McCabe, the kids, the young adults, did you buy any of what they were trying to sell?
No, they had all gotten together and gotten their story straight. They were very rehearsed. They absolutely knew what they were going to say when they walked in there. I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. If I heard that one more time, that was not stated before they came in there. So no, I didn't believe anything they said.
I didn't either. I really, when police training, we're trained to detect when people are lying, obviously, because you have to interview people and interview witnesses. And so I think it was probably even more painful for people that are trained to detect lying. But in this case, their stories were so ridiculous and none of it made any sense that you could be any profession in the world without any kind of training to detect lying because they were so bad at it. And that's what really upset me too, is how did Lally think he was going to, well, he did get away with it in a sense because we have a hung jury. But it just amazes me that they thought they could get away with bringing these so-called witnesses of this after bar party, as I've called it, one after the other. And like you said, everything was orchestrated down to the Dunkin' Donuts, down to the playing that song, It's Raining Men. Why are they telling us these things, right? And then the whole thing with Higgins' Jeep. Some said it was there. Some said it wasn't. So much like just smoke and mirrors, constant smoke and mirrors. I really think they were trying to confuse the heck out of the jury. In Massachusetts, you don't get to listen to the transcript. You don't get to see anything. They expect these people to remember all of this. 8 weeks of mostly nonsense. What is your thought on that, Rita and Amber?
You're right
Rita,
on.
after you.
Yeah, you're right on. That's exactly what they did. Lally deliberately dragged that on because he had no evidence. So all he could do was put those witnesses on. How was it snowing? How much was it snowing? What if any? Who if anyone was driving the ambulance? Really? Who if anyone? No, I guess it was driving itself. I mean, really? No, the ambulance. Whatever. They did that, and they did that on purpose, and they dragged it all the way up to July 4th because that was a holiday weekend, and Auntie Deb wanted to go to her Cape house. And so they knew that that a jury was getting anxious. They'd had enough.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that the jury had enough after the third week. I mean, of listening
I'm sure
to
they
rubbish. So I don't know. It just, it was a lot of wasted time. I think part of it was by design. And I think just part of it is Lally is completely incompetent. And they made it so that when they get up to the July 4th weekend, they were going to put the pressure on the defense to get the trial over. Right. And I think that, the defense put on what they thought would be cut and dry evidence. And at least that's my opinion. And we all felt it was cut and dry. I never thought it was ever going to get to the jury. I thought the case was going to fall apart before it got to the jury.
I was hoping so.
Question, Rita? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Miss Mandy.
What was out of everything that we heard, all the ridiculous stuff we heard in trial, what was the biggest lie that you think was told by the witnesses? The most ridiculous thing that you heard.
Jen McCabe.
That's what I was going to say.
I am an honest and what is it? I am an honest and truthful person.
Oh yeah.
And there was a photographer that was standing right near us, and we were watching it every day. We watched it. I watched it on my computer, and the photographer caught the picture of me and another girl, Chrissy, cracking a wee busted our gut. Hands down, every time somebody asked me, what is the most memorable moment of that trial? It's Jen McCabe lying through her teeth, and the missing one too, lying through her teeth. I am an honest and truthful person, and we just cracked up laughing.
I'll tell you what, I think one of the biggest lies I heard was Proctor's sister saying that she saw something in the snow.
Oh, that's not Proctor's sister.
Julie.
That was
Julie. I'm sorry, Julie saying that she saw
blog.
something in the snow. I think she made that up right there, sitting right there.
No, I don't think she made it up right there. I think it was planned. So.
Oh, really? But I think it was a lie. I think it was a complete and total lie. I don't think.
Lie. Oh no. Oh no, that's a lie. That was a lie. And I hit him. Didn't even come out until a year and a half afterwards. Yeah. So they never even said that because Karen didn't say that. And so they had it. They had Katie McLaughlin, who's all these people are friends. The EMTs, they all went to school together with the McAlberts. I mean, all these people, even the people that testified. There was one woman that testified in the lab, and her daughter had a long-term relationship with the pickup driver guy, Ricky.
What?
Ricky.
Yes, they were all connected. Even the woman that testified was connected.
Do you notice that Lally said it 4 times in his closing statement?
What did he say?
I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Oh yeah, that's all he had. And somebody says, I hit him, I hit him. Okay, and you're going to convict the person based on that? Anybody can say that. That's not what the conversation was.
The prosecution was changing what they thought happened and their theory of the case, even mid-trial. You know, at first it happens at 12:45 because that's what Jen McCabe saw. But then your own witness says, no, Karen was connected to the Wi-Fi back at One Meadows at, was it 12:36? It was crazy to me. And it was like you're talking about Lally's closing, it kept almost like a game of telephone. It kept elaborating. Like it wasn't, at first it was just, I hit him, or did I hit him, or could I have hit him? And then it was like twice she said it. Then it's 3 times she said it. Now the closing, Lally just pulls out, she said it 4 times in a row. Right. It just was like, trying to exaggerate, like big fish, you know, like just telling these stories. And that's all it was to me, was a bunch of lies and stories and fairy tales.
Right.
Yeah.
And when he did,
ma'am.
What he did was just kept repeating it, because the more you repeat it, oh, it must be true. And then people get confused. Well, he said it. Like, I'll talk to people and they'll say, well, she was really drunk. Really? Did anybody prove she was really drunk? And by the way, Brian Albert was drinking all the way in New York, all the way home, and he drove home.
They were all drinking. Everybody.
They were all drinking. Right.
Every one of them.
Yeah. And they made it a point from the very beginning to plant the seed that she was drunk. And she says she was buzzed, but they planted the seed. There's no evidence of her driving erratically. There's no evidence of any of that. That's all they had.
There's no real evidence, Rita, of how much she actually drank, but they took all that time to show that darn, they had, was that bukkake? Yeah, that they had, I love that name. They had up on the stand, and they were showing the surveillance of the bar, right? But there was no way to tell if how many she actually drank. Show me the receipt. And the receipt did not equal that. So they really misled. They completely misled the jury on that one. And that was a great question, Miss Mandy. And for me, what it really came down to too, is if you think about all that testimony, how they all were talking about looking out the window. It makes 0 sense. You're supposed to be at a so-called after bar party where you're supposed to be chatting and listening to music. Why are 5 people constantly looking out the window multiple times? And you want to make us believe that you're doing that because they were trying to, set the stage. Well, if that many people are looking out the window during that short of a time frame that he was supposedly hit and run over at 24 miles an hour, and you don't hear any squealing tires, you don't hear exactly backwards, and you're all taking turns looking out the window. I'm sorry, but the odds are one of you is going to witness it. There's no way. Then you supposedly have a body, John O'Keefe's bleeding head. Where's all the blood? He has no other injuries to his body other than what obviously looked like he's been bitten by a dog. We saw the testimony on that. There's no doubt in my mind that is a dog bite. There's so many other dog handlers and police officers who are dog trainers that came out of the woodwork on social media and showed us so many photos of what it looks like when you get bit by a dog. His arm was the exact replica of getting bit by a dog, not a car. So here he is laying, his head is bleeding, he's dying. And you're all leaving the house, 11 of you. You've got the 3 in the truck coming. You've got Matt McCabe leaving, Jen McCabe leaving, Caitlin. 11 people, guys, total left that house. And then you have Lucky, the plow driver, who swears he would see a body. These people are trained drivers. So we have all of this, what I consider, they are the expert witnesses. They didn't see a body. So how is it that you're trying to tell us that she hit him? I hit him, but 12 people don't see the body? Where is he? Right?
Because he wasn't there. He wasn't out there yet.
None of this makes sense because he wasn't there, because he was in the house bleeding and dying. And then we have I want to ask all of you ladies this question, because this is really, to me, the catalyst. You have Lucky. He's an honest guy. He's from Canton. He's beloved in his community. He's a good person. He's honest. He works hard. He's a professional driver of a plow. When's the last time anybody knows, has driven a plow? It's not an easy job. He told us that he saw a Ford Edge parked in front of the house, and by God, I believe him. So if there's a Ford Edge parked in front of the house between 3 and 3:30, who the heck is that? And why didn't they see John? Because the snow wasn't even close to being deep. And you're going to tell me that a Ford Edge is parked there right where the body would be, and they didn't see the body? So who's the Ford Edge driver? This person knows exactly what happened, and they're not coming forward. So what do you all think of what I just kind of ranted about on my Angry Bee rant?
Thank you for saying that, because I feel exactly as you do, Kat. It doesn't make any sense. And how did nobody see him? How does all their lies come out? And then what really perplexes me is, how did they convince 8 people that Karen was guilty of manslaughter? I don't understand that, for the reports of what the jury said. And I don't know what that's another question on what are your thoughts on why that is, because I don't even see how that's possible, other than Lally confused and bored the crap out of them. And they were just like, I don't know, we'll just compromise. We want to get to the 4th of July party.
I want to hear
They didn't find her guilty of manslaughter.
That's a great question. I just want to hear Rita and Mandy's observations of my rant too. And then I want to get back to your question, Amber, because that's a really good question. So Miss Mandy, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't interrupt.
No, go ahead.
No, I think you're absolutely right. They definitely, all those people, somebody would have seen something.
Absolutely.
Somebody would have seen something. But I think what people don't understand is that if you agree to tell one lie, then that makes you complicit in the cover up. You don't have to agree to say, oh, okay, I know you're the murderer, so I won't say anything. It's not that big. If you just agree to tell one little lie, to say, oh, hey man, I was here at 12, not 11:30, that makes you complicit.
Exactly.
That's what people don't understand about this. It can be as little as that. A lot can happen in an hour. A lot can happen in 10 minutes. And I think that's what people don't get about a cover up, that so much can happen. Tail light can be planted. So much can happen in that small period of time. Somebody can drag a body out, lay it on a lawn. It's very serious, and don't agree to cover up for your friends ever. I'm going to get emotional, so I'm going to stop talking now. But it's very, very.
You are so well spoken, and everything you said is so accurate. And the bottom line with that too is that, so much that's been in social media where they're, like Rita said, they're calling anybody who believes Karen is innocent. We're in a cult. We're settling a cult because we have our own brains and our own minds. And
I've been told I was in a cult. I've been told to unalive myself on a live stream. I've been told how crazy I am. I'm a turtle boy worshiper. I've been told all this crazy stuff.
Oh, Mandy, it's the McAlberts. Ignore them. That's not real people.
Right.
They're fake. They're fake people, fake profiles. They don't.
Oh yeah, they're trolls. Yeah,
right.
Trolls.
No, the trolls are the McAlberts. I have learned that people they just exposed somebody in this state who had fake accounts.
Yeah.
And we're threatening people, and the person just got exposed, and the father is, big in the police. I forget exactly what his role is, but he has a high role in the police organization. And these people are trolls. They are going down. They know they're going down, and they're fighting like
they're getting scared.
They're getting scared, and they're attacking us, and they're going after us. It's a small group of people with a bunch of fake accounts.
Right. Wow. You don't lie, people.
These are you know what I mean? They're fake accounts. And what they're trying to do is tear you down. And if they succeed, then they win. And we don't let them win. We stand up to them.
I ain't got no quit.
I ain't got no quit. Exactly. Bullies don't know what to do when we stand up to them. And that's what you're seeing here in Canton. That's what you're seeing here. These people are used to reigning with terror and people succumbing to whatever it is they're doing. And it's not working anymore.
No, it's
That's
not.
what they're saying. But the trolls that are coming after you, Mandy, please, please. It's the McGalberts. It's the McGalberts. I'm telling you, the IP address is all Massachusetts.
wow.
Or it's not, Rita. There, there's people out there in the world that just want to go with the flow. They want to go with what they feel is the popular choice. So some of these may not be, Alberts or McCabe's or anybody.
They're people that think Karen Reed is guilty.
Right. They don't like her for whatever reason. They've pinned her as an academic. They've ripped on her for various things about her, the way she dresses, the way she talks. It's like, it's crazy. It's like, this isn't a popularity contest. A man is dead. And don't you want to find the real murderer? Do you honestly want to put an innocent person in jail? We have way too many innocent people in jail as it is now, because our system is somewhat broken. And the Danish baker was kind enough to come on with me last night. Usually we do calling out corruption on Thursdays, but he was nice enough to be my guest, so we had to go on Tuesday. And he was saying how he doesn't understand our system at times. It's confusing to him how our justice system works. And we didn't want to get political, but we did talk a little bit about the execution last night of a gentleman in Missouri, which is unbelievable. Like, if you even have just a small, tiny little thread of hope that there's DNA that could prove that this man is innocent, why wouldn't you take it? Why didn't the governor? Because now we're back into politics again in the form of, oh, I can't do that. I'm only the governor. That's overreach. The Supreme Court already decided. Well, who gets to stop the stoppers? Who gets to be the one that says this is wrong? I don't care if this isn't how it's supposed to go. I'm not going to allow this man to be executed tonight. Now, there are so many times where after the execution in the states that still allow it here, which thankfully there's not that many, and I can't wait till we get rid of all of it, because I am completely against it. I wouldn't be against it if we were 100% sure that this person mass murdered or was a serial killer. I don't know. Maybe then I could philosophically wrap my head around it. But until we have 12 people that are our peers that are deciding our fate. And if we're accused or if we're framed because for either bias or misogynistic or racial, what is our recourse, right? We have to hire an attorney. If we're not wealthy enough for a really good attorney, we're probably going down for a crime we didn't commit. It could happen to any of us.
Oh, and it does. And it does. People don't have, look at the Central Park 5.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Central Park 5. You look at them, and you look at other people, and you look at Karen Reed.
Any of us could be Karen Reed.
Yeah. Anyone could be Karen Reed.
Wrong place, wrong time, get yourself mixed up with the wrong people. And like you've been saying all along, Rita, we're dealing with high level criminals here. These are not just your average shoplifters and, break and entry. I mean, this is high level. These people are well connected. They know a lot of well-connected people. It bleeds into the government. I mean, it sends chills up my spine when I think about it. And the same thing is going on in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania right now. There is a domestic violence murder that has been ruled a suicide in 2011. I always shout out her name for her family. Her name is Ellen Greenberg. I'm 100% confident she was murdered by her fiance, who is well connected. They used the government to 2 days after her death was ruled a homicide. And by the way, she was stabbed 10 times in the back and 10 times in the front for a total of 20 stab wounds. And the knife was found in her chest. She was a school teacher. She was a daughter. She was, by all accounts, like most of us are, good, honest, working people who just want to live our life. She thought she met the love of her life. She was engaged. And as it turns out, for many women who die of domestic violence, and by the way, most women who are murdered by their spouse or their ex-boyfriend or their ex-husband. We are not murdered by strangers. We are not murdered by anyone in our family. We are murdered by someone we are intimate with and loved and cared for. That is the stat, and it's horrifying. And domestic violence murders have gone up since COVID, astronomically.
Really?
Wow.
Ellen was, I have no doubt in my mind, come from what they want. murdered by her fiance. I won't say his name yet because he was never even considered a suspect. That's how connected he was to the government. His
Imagine
family.
that. Imagine that.
They ruled her death a homicide. And then 2 days later, after I found out from things I pulled and read, there was a mysterious meeting with Shapiro, who was the district attorney at the time, I think, or he might have even been higher up, but he wasn't the governor yet. Mysterious meeting with him and a sergeant and the medical examiner. And her death is now a suicide, and her family was completely.
Her death is now a suicide?
It was ruled a suicide 2 days after they ruled it a homicide. And it's been ruled a suicide since 2011. They have never changed the ruling, and her family has been fighting. They've been interviewed. Now it's being taken to the Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court. It's an absolute travesty that this woman, there's proof that her body was moved. There's science that the blood flow from her wounds couldn't have flowed in a certain pattern if she had been in the position that they found her in. It was very sketchy. What his story, his 911 call, which I'm going to play next time on Angry Bitch Club, is haunting. He sounds like completely cold. He doesn't sound like someone who's in trauma. It's haunting, and yet none of that, they never once considered him as a suspect. And this poor girl and her family, this poor woman, has never gotten justice. So I'm going to continue to fight for her on Social Change Warriors. I will continue to share out her story. And I would even go to Philadelphia and do a stand out there. I would do my best to raise awareness, because it's been forgotten. She's been forgotten in so many accounts because this happened in 2011.
Yeah, just a quick question in regards to that. I heard something, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, because you know this case a lot better than I do. Wasn't there some sort of remark that some of the stab wounds were inflicted post-mortem? Like, how did she stab herself after she died?
Exactly. That was in the first ME's report. That's how they came up with homicide in the first place, that she had 2 or 3 stab wounds post-mortem, and that one of the stab wounds to the back of her head would have been it would have rendered her completely unconscious. And then she may have died from bleeding, but they said that it would have severed her spine and it would have cut off all activity to her brain. So it's such a horrific case. Her injuries are so horrific, and it's heartbreaking that nobody is in jail. I mean, who did they think did it, right? She was a school teacher. She didn't have any enemies. She didn't have any dark secrets. They've already proven all that. She's just a normal person. This could happen to any of us that choose to get in a relationship with someone who has a mask on, who is a misogynistic narcissist, malignant. This person is not well, and now they have a new wife and new children.
How do you stab yourself in the back 15 times?
Well, 10, but you really
Oh,
can't.
10.
Yeah, you can't.
At all.
At some point, you're gonna be bleeding, Mandy, so profusely that you're gonna lose consciousness. And the final knife stab was to the chest. So, and like they said in the first ME report, the neck wound would have rendered her unconscious. She couldn't have put a knife in her chest. There's no way. So the fact that this case is still left this way, and it has to be taken to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. What is wrong with the police and the detectives, and where's the FBI on Ellen's case? That's what I want to know. Why don't we have the FBI in her case? And maybe we will, if we can get more people to talk about her and start doing something for her like we've done for Karen and John, because she deserves justice. It's one of the worst cases I've.
Would you send me some information on it, and I'll cover it on my channel?
Absolutely. I'll send you, I have quite a bit. I'll send you my docs. And I did want to bring up real quick before you go, Amber, before you speak, I got to go back. Ernie who was it? Somebody was nice enough to put in here for me about, let me go find it. It's one of our streamers that does the streaming from Florida, and she makes all the notes. Brandy, right?
Brandy Churchwell?
Yes.
13th Juror? Yeah, she's amazing.
Yes. She's amazing. I wanted to give her a shout out because the notes that she takes are amazing. Like she could work for a lawyer. She could be in the court system with the amazing notes she takes and how thorough she is. So definitely want to give her a shout out, and you should check her out if you're interested in following trials. But somebody wrote, and I know I lost it, about how many binders she must have from all of those witnesses.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, Ernie Birdie had written, how many witnesses did the prosecution actually end up calling in the Karen Reed trial? And I think it was well over 70, right? Doesn't that sound like the magic number? 67, 70, something like that?
What was that question?
I think there were a lot of witnesses. Yeah.
I think there's about
Yeah.
70. I think there's about, I think it might have been.
That's
more than
close.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a
Yeah.
lot.
Ernie
What
had
do you
put up
think-
Ernie Birdie had put up in the chat about how many witnesses the prosecution actually had.
For some reason, the number 72 is popping in my head, but I'm not sure that that's
I
correct.
think it's in the 70s. I think it was in the
It's-
70s.
Yes, it's close. It's close. So, but that's just happening not very far from you, Rita. Pennsylvania is not that far.
Oh,
from
God,
you.
no. And I would get involved. The only thing is we have so much here right now,
I
and
know
we're in
you
the middle
do.
of a trial. So what we have is urgent right now. Otherwise,
Yes.
I would be all involved in that because clearly there's something wrong with that.
There is. Well, I'll keep you
something
posted
like
because I don't know the date yet of when it's going to the courts, but I'll keep you posted. And also, Rita, now I really want to know what is the plan? What are you guys going to do to push back? Because you need a police audit. And I know there are many companies. I sent you the link for the one in California that a friend of mine sent me that does nationwide audits. Now, I don't know what they charge, and I know you're on a budget, but I loved what you guys were saying in the meeting, that you guys will allow money for such a, for this, that, and the other thing. We need money for a police audit. And if we go over the 200 grand, then give it to us, right?
Right. Yeah. So look, the bids are due Monday at 12 o'clock. And Bob did a fantastic job discouraging people from bidding the other night.
He did.
He really did. That was his goal, to make it an unachievable situation, to tell people that they have to start the job November 6th and finish by April, which is like 4.5 months, of which November and December are two of the busiest holiday and vacation months. So now your 4.5 months is really maybe 3 months to do an audit of the police department that includes maybe a 10-year look back. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And so he did that on purpose so that people will go, I can't do that, so I'm not going to bid on that. And that's exactly what he wanted. We know from feedback that we have from people that do this, that we need to tweak the RFP a little bit, perhaps. And we might have to increase the money. And that's okay. The problem is when there were questions that couldn't be answered by anybody on the committee. Bob went to the three people who should have no business whatsoever in the audit: the police chief, the town council, and the IT guy. And this is the IT guy that turns over the library video with 2 minutes missing and turns over an inverted video. And the police chief told me, that it wasn't really inverted. Just ask Lewis. But Lewis never told me. I sent Lewis 2 emails. He never told me. Please tell me how it wasn't inverted. Please tell me how, people weren't appearing and disappearing. The chief thought that, I really didn't understand what I was looking at.
It was definitely inverted. They proved it was.
Of course it was. It was ridiculous. So I don't know. I just lost my thought, but
I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. I lost my thought, but
It's easy to do.
It's way past my bedtime.
it's way past my bedtime too. And it's my second
so-
I'm gonna go. Guys,
Say-
thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel, everybody. And
We definitely will. I will share
all that fun stuff.
I'll share your channel out, Miss Mandy, and
Thank
I'll
you.
put it on all my socials.
Nice to meet you,
Thank
Rita. Thank you for
Nice
all that
to
you
meet you
do.
too, Miss
I
Mandy.
appreciate you so much. Y'all
Yes,
have a good one.
I appreciate everything you do, and we all appreciate it because we're all in this together.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. She was great. I'm so happy to have met her.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
happy to have met her. Well, Rita, we were going to bring up some of the audio from your meetings, but you were already on another show and it's really late. So I'd love to see you again at some point where we could bring up some of the audio, because some of the things that were said to you is I want people to hear it. I want people, because most people that don't live in Massachusetts are going to tune into a Canton Board Select meeting. But the things that were happening in that meeting, the way these supposed gentlemen, Canton elected select board, were treating you, and the snarkiness and the rudeness, that just can't stand. That's not how you behave in government. When you're tasked to do an audit on the police, because there are, like we said, every day there's a new hashtag for justice for someone, because people are dropping and being murdered in a state that's not even that big. It's time. I mean, Canton needs an audit. Stoughton needs an audit. They allowed grooming of police explorers, children, women in Stoughton. It happened right under the noses of the chiefs and the lieutenants. They need an audit. I mean, they encouraged the behavior of the Farwell twins to groom these girls and sexually assault them. And I will say it because I don't plan to be monetized. And if I do, I'll be donating it. So I will say the word sexual assault, YouTube, because that's what they did to Sandra Birchmore. And we don't know how many other girls, right under the noses of the chief of police and all of the captains and lieutenants. That cannot stand. That place needs to be cleaned, a total house cleaning, an audit. Matthew's twin needs to be arrested. William Devane needs to be arrested. I can't wait. I will fly there and I will go to all of their arraignments, because these men that abuse girls and children are the worst. And they use their uniform to do it. And that disrupts every good cop in America. We have so many good police officers that swear to do their job, and they do it seriously, and they treat the public, even when they're arresting someone, they treat them with respect. These gentlemen ruin every single good cop's name by being on a police force for that many years, sexually assaulting young girls. It absolutely is despicable. And I can't wait for the rest of them to be arrested. I can't wait for their trials. And justice for Sandra Birchmore and any of the other victims is coming. And it's time's up, Canton, time's up, Stoughton, time's up, Massachusetts.
Tick, boom.
We're not putting up with it anymore. Now we have people, I'm in Wisconsin, Amber's in Wisconsin. Everybody is spread around the country now paying attention to Massachusetts and all the corruption that you've all been trying to fight by yourself. Now you have social change warriors popping up everywhere in this country, because we're not going to sit by and watch this happen and have these misogynistic, complete assholes run towns and run police departments and abuse children and murder people. It's unacceptable and it's just wrong. So there's the kind of my closing rant. I did want to point out that Turd Ferguson brought up Ian Whiffen, and I find that to be interesting because I was going to bring him up earlier. Should not have been able to testify. His app pulled data from Celebrate software, not the database. And it is electronic hearsay. And you are so right, Turd Ferguson.
The vote is 3-2 that you are right, Turd. The vote is 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2. Right, Turd, thank you. You are spot on.
Yes, spot on. And thank you to everybody that commented tonight. I've tried my hardest to still run the room the best I can when you have this many people. And man, Auntie Deb came in on fire. We really got her worked up. She was watching the beginning of the show and she came. I just let her go because that's what Wednesdays is about. Wednesdays is about coming on. And if you want to be on the platform, if you have a rant, if you have something to say, you can rant it in the chat box. I'm going to try to get it put up for you. If you want to come on the platform, I can have up to 10 people, but I have to somehow try to control the room, which is a little difficult to do, to bring it back around to this, to our guest Rita tonight. But I would love to do another panel down the road because this case is not going away right now. Stoughton is not going away. We still need justice for Enrique, justice for Justin Root. We do not have justice for him. Several weeks ago, you all met Anne-Marie Grant, whose brother Thomas Purdy was killed by police overreach and complete. They murdered him. He was shot multiple times while he was in Reno, Nevada. He was not treated respectfully. He was having a mental health crisis. He should have been taken to the hospital. He should be alive today. Sonia Massey should have been taken to the hospital. She should be alive today. She was shot in the face by a police officer. Gratefully, he's been arrested. But these are preventable deaths, and they should not be happening People that are having mental health crisis deserve the utmost respect. They didn't ask for it. It's mostly all the time not their fault that this could happen to any of us. All of our brains at any time have an ability to become overwhelmed and have the need to call the police for help. We're supposed to be able to trust them to come to our aid. Most families are afraid to call the police when their children or their significant other is having mental health, because this is what they're seeing. They're seeing Thomas Purdy being shot. They're seeing just en route being shot, and it's horrifying. Sonia Massey and these type of these murders by police need to be stopped. It has to end. And when George Floyd was murdered, watching the video back was horrific. And had we not had social media and that young woman had not captured that video, none of those officers would be in jail.
Imagine that.
We're holding them accountable with the videos now. Thank the Lord.
Imagine that. Thank you for the phones.
Yes, it is. Sometimes it's not always a gift to be this plugged in and to constantly have social media and to constantly be worried about what people are saying about you or tweeting you or demanding that you answer your phone or demanding that you tweet back right away or that you text back right away. But for the most part, social change warriors with phones can help. Sometimes we can save lives. Other times we can hold people accountable for wrongful deaths. And that's really, it's what being a community is all about. We can't look away anymore in this day and age. When we're out and about, if we see something, we have to be brave. We have to say something because there's just too much corruption. And they're all so used to getting away with it. They're used to us all being too busy to care.
There's no oversight. There's no oversight.
There's no oversight. And we all have to have the mentality that we have to look out for one another in our communities. And I'm really proud of you, Rita, for everything you and the other protesters, the other organizers have done in your city. I know they don't like to call you protesters, but you sort of are. You're protesting for justice. You're supporters,
like supporters, because supporters is positive, and protesters. I found that when we went to the court, the first day, we were looked at as protesters. And I think the police looked at us, protesters are, we have to get our gear and we have to be ready, and because they're going to be violent. And that's not who we are.
Right.
The people in this movement bring love, hope, and compassion. It is such a welcoming environment. Everyone is welcome. Doesn't matter what you play. We're all coming together.
Yes.
For truth and justice. We are standing for truth, and we are saying no more gaslighting. And
the cameras, sorry, Rita, to cut you off, but the cameras are exposing it all, and they're fighting back, and the world is seeing it. We are watching it. We watched what happened at that police audit committee meeting, and the way you were treated and the misogyny. And we're not going to stand for it anymore. We're coming together. We're supporting one another, and it's done. It's over. Tick, tick, boom.
Tick, tick, boom is right. I love it. I love it. So good. Yes. This is so good. Yes, yes.
Yes. Well, we've got your back, Rita. And I do appreciate that you call it supporting, but I am all for protesting. Protesting is about standing up for against criminals and standing up for what you believe in and what is right. And when we made that a dirty word, we did so many people a disservice, because people have protested for years about what is right and what matters, and to stand up against corrupt government and corrupt police. And I remember when my father protested, he was the head of his union, and he helped the first strike that ever happened for the Department of Motor Vehicle back in the 70s. And he took so much flack. They threatened to fire him. They made him feel like an insignificant person, and he was one of the best people I've ever known. Yeah. And my mother worked for years for the Department of Justice, and she was also part of her union and fought for better pay for her paralegal investigators. We need people that are willing to stand up for us. Not all of us can do it, and that's okay. Not everybody is meant to be a public speaker. Not everybody's meant to be a content creator and go on here and talk every week and try to call out corruption. You can still do good in your community. communities. You can still do any little thing you do matters. If it's writing a letter because that's in your wheelhouse. If it's standing on a street corner with a sign like Rita, that's in your wheelhouse. If it's joining social change warriors like Amber's willing to do and help me grow my channel, if that's in your wheelhouse, whatever you can do, even if nothing's too small. If you are willing to stand for your community and stand for victims of crimes and root out the criminals in our society, you are doing enough.
Right. You know, people, if good do not speak and stand up for what is right, bad is going to take over. It just
Absolutely.
is. And if we do not want to be, you know, the next communist country, you know, we need to stand up for what's right. And we need to start in our communities by getting engaged. And the time to let government do its thing and do our thing over here, those days are gone. We need to get involved. And there's different levels of involvement. Whatever level you're comfortable with, do it. And, you know, we come together and we have facts and we stand for truth. And, you know, that is what this country is great for, you know, for democracy. And, but it's not free. Freedom is not free. We have to fight for this every day. Every day. If we get complacent, then bad can take over. And, you know, I want to keep living in a free world.
Me too.
Same.
Me too.
Well
Me
said,
too.
Rita. Absolutely.
Thank you, Rita. That's a great way to close out our show tonight, Rita. I'm so honored to have you again. I feel so blessed to know you and everything you're doing. You're setting an example, and I can see more communities who are dealing with corruption taking your lead, because we just need good role models. That's what we need. A lot of people just need that extra kick. You know, they see something happening and they see role models like yourself and the other Cantonites that have come out, and that's empowering, and that's what we want to see. We want to see this in all our communities. So thank you so much, Amber, for coming on as a panelist tonight. Thanks for all the help behind the scenes.
And you guys are role models too. And it's not just Canton. It's people from all over, all over coming out, and everybody brings something different to the party. So, you know, everybody, I mean, there's so many heroes in the story, and you guys help shine a light on this, and you're all part of the story. And so I'm honored to be here. I really enjoy speaking with you guys. I really enjoy it.
We love having you. Can't wait to meet you. Can't wait till I get that plane ride to Boston and meet you in person. That I'm coming to one of your standouts.
Awesome. All right, listen, I'm gonna go. Good night.
Thank
and
you.
I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rita. Good night.
You too.
Thank you. Oh, I love Rita.
She's fantastic. She is a force, and she found her voice through all of this. She told me last week that she had never been involved in politics and in the local level, that she was a busy, hardworking mom, and she had a career, and now she's found her voice. And it's really proof, and it goes to show you, it doesn't matter how old you are, what you used to do for a living, or you can always come out and have be like a butterfly and grow a new you and find a new calling. And so I really feel blessed to know her and to have connected with her, and everybody that's been involved with trying to help call out corruption in the state of Massachusetts. It's really something, and it's gone worldwide, because I want to do a shout out to Miss Shorty. And if we could put Miss Shorty's YouTube channel, guys, in the chat box, that would be great, because she really inspired me. When I met her during the Karen Reed trial, we started chatting a little bit about landlords and how terrible landlords are. Because I used to be a landlord, you used to be a landlord, and that we could do a whole show on tenant landlord laws and how horrible they are. How we need more protection, because in this day and age with the the housing market, a lot of us who don't currently own homes, and I've owned several, but I don't own one now, we can't afford to buy one. So we are in the rental market, which is completely out of control. And I met Miss Shorty because we started talking about that, and we started talking about just bullies, landlords that are bullies. So we became friends, and she invited me to mod for her new channel. I'm one of the Shorties now. I'm very proud of it. And I know Ernie Birdie is, and Sarah and many others that were in the chat tonight. So she has a fantastic show. She has great guests. So please do me the favor, if you have subbed my channel, please sub Auntie Deb and Miss Shorty and Miss Mandy and anybody else who's covering to root out corruption right now. There's so many YouTubers, content creators who are trying to get the word out and build communities where we can all talk about this and have these public forums. Thankfully, YouTube allows us to. The Danish baker last night gave me a hard lesson in words I'm not supposed to use, because many content creators are monetized and I'm not. So because I'm not monetized, I guess they can't really limit my free speech. So thankfully, because Auntie Deb was on a roll tonight with the F-bomb and all the other. So thankfully I'm not monetized, because if I was, I'm going to be donating in any way. But I definitely don't want to lose money for donations someday. But I don't know about these tight rules that I can't say sexual assault and I can't say this and that and the other. I mean, if that's, I'm going to call it like I see it, right? Sandra Bertrand was sexually assaulted. End of discussion. Don't tell me I can't say that. That's free speech, and that's what happened to her. So somebody needs to start a little bit of a thing with YouTube, like why are you banning me from saying these words? What is the purpose of it? What is the reason for it? Give me an explanation, right? So anyway, well, I know you have to go to work tomorrow. I do.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Absolutely.
I love how you keep calling him the Danish baker, and he is a Danish baker, but his official name is Broken Baker, in case anybody was wondering who she was talking about. There's not two people.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I love that nickname that his chat gave him. And when I watched him cover trials, yes, thank you for reminding me of that. So we will, I will promote his channel. He's excellent. And in case you missed our live show last night, he's very sarcastic. He's very funny. He brings a little bit of humor, like Auntie Deb does, to these dark, horrific cases that he's covering live trials. And he's found that he's quite good at it. And he has a very large following. And I was very honored as well that he was willing to speak with me last night. So thank you for reminding me that his official is the Broken Baker. Yes, out of Denmark. So Social Change Warriors is officially worldwide. We had New Zealand in the chat tonight. We had Australia. We had last night, we had Denmark and we had England. I think there were a couple people from England in the chat last night. So, wow, what a great way to share.
We had comments from Ireland, I think.
Ireland.
Yeah, we're across the pond.
It's fantastic, because we're just trying to do right by people and stand up for people that need us to stand up for them. So thank you, Social Change Warriors. Thank you, new subscribers. Thank you to everybody on replay. I appreciate you so much. I'm just one person trying to do some good in this world before it's my turn to cross the rainbow bridge, like all of my sweet pets have. I'm petless, Amber, for the first time since Chloe. I was 21. I know. I've had a pet in my life since I was 21, and mostly multiples, and they've all lived to be 18, 17, 16, and I just lost my sweet Zelda on July 1st. So I am petless right now, other than my sister's dog and my son's dog. So it's a little bit odd, and I miss them all terribly. But we all have to cross the rainbow bridge someday, and wherever you believe you're going. So while we're here on Earth, we have to do our part. We have to do our part to prepare for our children, our grandchildren, and the future, and try to teach the criminals and all of the white collar criminals and the murderers and the corrupt that it's not going to stand. We're going to turn it around and have less of them and more of us. So have a great night, everyone. Be safe out there. Raise your voice when you can. Do it safely. If you need anything, you can get a hold of me on my direct message. And it's just us. Just remember that. # just us. And I will see you all for the next live stream. Take care, everyone. Thanks again, my sweet Amber. And thank you to my special guest again, Miss Mandy, Miss Rita, and Auntie Deb. Good night, everyone. Take care. Amber, do you want to hit the end button for me? I had to transition over to my phone because my laptop was acting crazy.
Oh, no, I don't. I only have a leave studio button. I don't have an end button.
Oh, that's okay. I think, never mind. I found it. It was just hiding your icon down here. So, okay, everybody. Good night. Peace out from Madison, Wisconsin. Next city I'll be broadcasting from will be Los Angeles. I'm on the move. So I will see you all next week from Los Angeles, California. Take care, everyone. Just us.